Okay, managed to cause a few inquiries by my comment in the match review that I did with Gio after the Watford game. And the comment that caused a bit of a stir, I think, was, I said, we all know the Soucek rumours. And actually the comments started coming during the live chat. They've certainly kept on coming afterwards across a number of platforms, which is, what are the Soucek rumours? So clearly when I made the statement, we all know the Soucek rumours, we're all aware of the Soucek rumours. Clearly, we all don't. So, here we go. I didn't think it was particularly breaking news. I don't think it is breaking news, but there's obviously enough people that haven't heard it. So, here it is. Now, the rumour is that Soucek is unhappy at West Ham, basically. And I don't... To cut this off at the pass now, because I know not everyone watches until the end of the video, he's not unhappy at the club. He's unhappy with his role in the team. He's unhappy with the difference between last season and this season. As I understand it, Tomáš Souček perceives himself to be a box-to-box midfielder / an attacking midfielder. I think what he's become this season is fair to say is a defensive midfielder. So the rumour is he's not very happy with that. The most extreme, I'm trying to be careful what I'm saying. The most extreme versions of the rumour are that he might be looking for pastures new. And I wanted to do the Bowen video, which is the video I did after the match. I didn't want to do this sort of negative type video straight away after a 4-1 win, but people are asking, so I'm not trying to drum up negativity, far from it. In fact, I've kept this news under my hat probably for about 3 weeks now. I first heard this from somebody pretty reliable, who's all I can say is who's featured on the channel, featured on Hammer's Chat before, put it that way, and someone that knows a little bit about football, and they told me this exact thing. They said, "Don't tell anyone, keep it to yourself." Anyway, I was chatting to somebody at I was chatting to somebody at the Southampton game, and they said, "Have you seen the Hammers Chat?" Basically, we got a Hammers Chat Addicts, Patron Addicts WhatsApp group, and they said, "Have you seen what they're talking about in the WhatsApp group?" Now, I hadn't. I've been at the game and I was drunk. They said, "Have you seen what they're chatting about in the Hammers Chat WhatsApp group?" I said, "No, what's that?" He said, "Well, they're suggesting that Tomáš Souček is unhappy and wants out." That's what he's unhappy about. Or he's unhappy with the role he's got in the team. Okay, right. Okay, so I've now heard it from two completely different sources are coming out with this information. Now, I understand that it might be something that you put 2 and 2 together and you get 4 basically, but anyone could have guessed that. I guess it's a natural assumption to make. However, with it coming from 2 different places, I think there's certainly a belief of it. Do I believe the sort of nuclear version of it, which is Soucek wants to leave? I'm not so sure, but I do think we have to be very, very careful with this. And this is all guesswork, by the way. This is complete and utter guesswork. But that's what we do. That's what we do. This is why it's if we wait for everything to we chat about West Ham on this channel. That's the point. So, what do we believe to be true? What do I believe to be true? I believe that last season we had an attacking midfielder, or a midfielder who scored 10 goals. It was outstanding, sensational for a club like West Ham to have a midfielder that scored 10 goals. He was being likened, if you remember, with Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes don't play in the same position as Soucek, but Fernandes takes penalties and operates just behind the attackers. That's not what Soucek does at all. So I think it's an unfair comparison. Actually, somebody that plays in the centre of the park to get 10 goals a season, I think, is phenomenal. Now, there's no doubt about it that the job that he's been asked to do has changed massively. And I think it's fair to say that the reason that is that Declan Rice's role, Declan Rice has improved. I don't think there's any villain in this, by the way. There's no villain. It's just a set of circumstances that happened. Declan Rice is an outstanding midfielder. I think Declan Rice is probably the best midfielder in the Premier League. Simple as that. So we've got a situation where we have got the best midfielder in the Premier League playing in our team, but we've also got this other midfielder who's exceptional at scoring goals. Declan Rice, as his game has expanded, as he's improving. If you've ever seen any of those videos, those YouTube channels and the stuff that the club puts out, the skills from the training ground, and Oh God, there's a YouTube. There's a pair of blokes who do a YouTube channel about skills and stuff like that. And whenever and there's Soccer Saturday, is that what it's called? Whenever I see Declan on any of these things, doing any of these skills, I mean, the thing when they've got to hit it top bins and all the rest of it, he just does it. Declan's really, really skillful. Declan strikes the ball really well. Right-footed, left-footed, long passing. And then he's dribbling now. I bet Declan's dribble completion rate is up there with anyone else in the West Ham squad. There's a lot of players at West Ham got the reputation for being a good dribbler. Declan actually does it. My point is his game is expansive and his game is growing all the time. We, I think, have started to indulge that. And as I say, I don't think there's a villain here. I think we almost have to indulge that, and Moyes has to indulge that. Before we go any further, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. The OneFootball app is downloadable to your mobile phone, your mobile device, by using the link underneath this screen. There's a little arrow underneath the screen. If you press it, opens up a body of text there, and there's all some ways to get in touch with Hammers Chat, ways to and anyway, one of them is the link to the OneFootball app. The great thing about the OneFootball app is it scours the internet, looks at every West Ham story from West Ham websites, from generic Premier League football websites, from newspapers, and it puts all the West Ham stories into one place for you, so you don't have to go searching for them. Just when you download the app, click that you support West Ham. It will do all the nitty-gritty and all the hard work for you. Best of all, it's free, and they are sponsoring this video. That's OneFootball app. You can use the QR code up there, by the way, if you want to scan it. Not sure how that works. Anyway, the indulgence of Declan Rice. And the thing is, somehow indulgence has become a dirty word. I think it's right to indulge Declan Rice because we're at this sort of halfway house of wanting to encourage him to stay at the club. But we've got to be careful that we don't give up too much. I do think it's a really sticky wicket. I'm not suggesting that I've got the answer here, by the way. But by doing that, we have curtailed and we seem to be annoying somebody that's been really good for the club and that's doing well for West Ham. And I do wonder if we end up with this nightmare scenario where in trying to please one and annoying the other, we lose both. And that would be my major concern. And I'm not on the inside. And anytime I do a video on Declan Rice, there will always be a couple of people that say, well, how do you know he wants to leave? How do you know? I say, I don't know. Okay? But every player has got agents, every player has got advisors, and every player has got a couple of people who have the ear of him. Basically, a couple of journalists their favourite journalists who they leak stuff through. Everyone does it. I mean, funny enough, look at Jesse Lingard, for instance. Jesse Lingard's stuff comes through his brother. All right, we dealt with that on this channel before. Declan's dad, as I understand it now, is now his agent. They have a journalist who's very close to him on a couple of occasions. That journalist has said, I think it's Matt Law, has said Declan's not going to sign a new contract. West Ham offered him twice, 2 contracts. Basically, West Ham don't bother offering a third. He's not going to sign it. That's the story that came out. That story has been verified by West Ham. By whatever. So David Sullivan's favoured journalist, Ken Dyer, I think that might be his name, has turned around and said West Ham have offered Declan Rice 2 contracts. They're not going to offer him a third because he said he doesn't want it. So Declan's side are saying it and the club are saying it. Do I know? No, but I'm just going on the information I've got. Now, I do wonder how much damage there is in overly pandering to him. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's really important that we show Declan Rice that he can fulfil his ambition at West Ham and that he can develop and grow as a player at West Ham. And I think you've heard David Moyes say on a number of occasions when there's been times when Declan's had a hard few games and played brilliantly and you think maybe he needs a rest, but he's then turned up and he's played in the European game. And David Moyes very much said, I think it's important for Declan's development that he plays in the European games. Make no mistake about it, this is a conversation that would have been had between Declan Rice and David Moyes. How do I know? I don't. But I assume it to be true. It sort of makes sense, doesn't it? So I just think that's what we've got. We've now got this Declan Rice situation where he's got this marauding role where he can take long shots, where he can dribble the ball forward, where he can grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And my word, is he good at it. I mean, he really, really is. When it gets to the end of this season, and we tally up, myself and Gio do the player ratings after each match, when we get to the end of this season, Declan Rice will have more man in the matches than anybody else. He just will. Why? Because he's West Ham's best player. But I do think that what we don't want to do is get into a situation where we pander so much to our best player, we lose our best player, and actually, look, I say this flippantly, but then we lose our second best player. Yes, I get it. Soucek might not be our second best player, but hopefully you get the point I'm trying to make here. Because actually what I saw in the Watford game, and Watford were, let's speak candidly, unfit and crap, right? But I don't know why I chuckled then. But you saw a liberated Soucek. Basically, we saw the old Soucek. We saw the Soucek of last season in the Watford game. And it wasn't just a goal, it's where he's marauding forward. Look at the disallowed goal. The disallowed goal for Bowen. Who puts the crossover? Soucek. Who's winning the tackle? Oh, that was a foul. It's Soucek. And then, but he wins. The point is, if you look back at that, it was a foul on Dennis. Soucek wins the tackle. As soon as he wins the tackle, he marauds forward. He's in the left wing position. Puts over the cross. That left wing position that the midfielder gets into. You and I both know that in games, you look at the position that Declan Rice pops up in, it's that one. Who do you see? What midfielder do you see running down the left wing? It's Declan. It's Declan all the time. He was only in there because Declan wasn't playing. And I think in many respects, I was sort of a little bit buoyed. I don't want Rice to leave. I really don't. I want Rice to be the captain forever. I mean, he's my favourite player. I mean, I think he is. You know, he is. I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Fornals, but for different reasons. Because he's got a cheeky nickname, and he drinks Estrella and all the rest of it. Actually, in terms of football, the best footballer is Declan Rice, and I love Declan's character. He's a real cheeky chap. He has a lot to like. He's a likeable guy. He really is. So I'm not trying to get rid of him. I don't want him to go. But when I saw he played at Watford, and when I saw how Soucek can be effective if he's actually got a holding midfielder doing that job for him, I thought, you know what, maybe it's not the end of the world if Declan Rice leaves. You know, as long as we invest that money properly, if we get enough for 3 top quality players for Declan Rice, then, you know, crikey, we managed to sign Calvin Phillips for 60 million and still had 60 million left over or something like that. My word, you know, do I think? I don't think we'd be massively worse, West Ham, and I think you'd then allow Soucek to play in his favoured position. I just do think we've got to be a little bit careful, because there's no guarantee that for all that happening, that Soucek is still there. What we've got to be really careful of, that when we get to that point, that Declan Rice leaves, that we haven't allowed Soucek to get so annoyed that he's left as well. And just one final thought for you. I thought there was a point last season where if somebody had said to you, or me, either of us really, that a club, it was Bayern Munich, wasn't it, if you remember, that Bayern Munich might bid 70 million for Tomáš Souček, it wasn't completely unbelievable, was it? It wasn't like you looked at it and thought, no, don't be ridiculous, he's a £15 million player. No, actually he was so effective, what I could actually see, that, bearing in mind people throw £200 million around. I can't remember what Neymar cost. It was 180 million. I might be wrong. 70 million didn't seem unrealistic. You didn't scoff it. I think, no way. Nobody would offer that for Soucek. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think he's worth 70 million at the moment. I really don't, because I do feel that his value has depreciated because of the position he's been asked to play. And I think we've got to be really careful that we don't have this almost, I was going to say imperfect storm, where Declan leaves, Soucek wants to leave, and actually we don't get even half the money we thought we might initially get for Soucek. Interesting. I'm not suggesting I know the answer, but it's something that's going to have to really, really be managed. It's a tough one. The reason I don't have the answer, because I just think whatever way you do it, you're going to make someone unhappy.
Goldie, Brady, Sully, Horsevich, Jack the Junior, Sully, Goldie's mate, Kretinsky, Horsinski, and Jack Jr. Don't forget about Goldie's son-in-law.